SuperTalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. You can watch us too if you would like. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And don't forget our SuperTalk Mississippi news team. They are always covering your Mississippi stories. You can stay up to date. Sign up for our free weekly newsletter over at supertalk.fm/newsletter. It's Monday here on Good Things, so we're going to cover some good headlines. And we got Kelly joining us today, share a little bit more. Hey, Kelly.
Good morning. Your last guest made me tired. Just thinking about all that work from all those businesses. I was like, woo, that's a lot.
I was going to share my cup of coffee with old Will, but he's got it rolling in that direction. How are things on the Gulf Coast? Do we still have summer-like weather, or did you guys get a little sense of false fall here lately?
Well, I spent some time in the pool over the weekend. You know what's weird about living in Mississippi? It can get so hot at some points that when you get down to like 89, 92, you're like, oh, this feels good. It's a beautiful day. So that's kind of what it's been like. But I will give you a heads up. The heat is back on tomorrow. I've already looked ahead. Temps are going to be in the 90s, and the heat index is going to be over 100 across the entire state tomorrow. So
Kelly,
ready.
You're here to share good things. I don't think that's very good. I don't think that's very good.
It's funny. It depends on how you look at it, Rebecca. I, for one, many, many moons ago, lived in the Northeast. And any day I am not shoveling snow, I consider a good day. You know what I mean?
Good perspective. I am curious too, Kelly, with schools back in session. I think all the schools across the state, even on the Gulf Coast, are back at it. Does the beaches clear out? Is this a good time for people who don't have kids in school to get out and enjoy the beaches, or are people still coming in on the weekends and taking advantage of the Gulf and the sand?
It kind of depends on where you're at. Yeah, I think we still have a pretty good amount of tourists enjoying the beaches on the weekend. We've got Cruising the Coast coming up. The beaches will be packed for that. That's in October, so it's really not that far away. And it kind of depends. I've learned, like, I'm an old lady now, you know. So if you go earlier in the day, it's not quite as packed. It kind of depends on the time, but you learn how to do it. Yeah.
Well, what good headlines you got, Kelly? You know, my favorite tab over at supertalk.fm is that lifestyle button where you and the rest of the team always put the best headlines. I know there's other good information there that sometimes we need to know, but sometimes we forget to know about the good stuff. So what's happening over there at supertalk.fm?
I think, well, this one's kind of mixed, but let's look on the bright side. The Rankin County deputy that was injured in a crash on July 25th has been discharged from a rehabilitation center. That happened over the weekend. You know what was really cool? I saw his exit from the hospital on my social media feed this morning, and there were a ton of people out there cheering him on as he got into his car as he left the facility, and it was just kind of a happy moment. Yeah. But to give you a little bit of background, Deputy Jalen Parker was responding to a home invasion call in the Robin Hood community. He had his lights and siren activated, but his vehicle collided with another. It sounds like the other vehicle pulled out in front of him. Both drivers ended up in the hospital. Now, Parker is expected to miss a couple of more months of work after having to undergo surgery on his left hip. So wishing him all the best. We all hate robocalls. The Attorney General is taking some steps to make those go away. Last week, she launched Operation Robocall Roundup, which is actually a multi-state effort to crack down on robocalls across the country. So what they did, the AG's office sent warning letters to 37 voice providers demanding they stop illegal robocalls being routed through their networks. They sent a bunch to secondary companies as well. And according to Fitch, and this is true because we do a lot of these scam stories all the time, these calls and texts can often be a gateway to these scams. Mm-hmm. So if you receive like a text or a notice and they claim to be from the sheriff's department and they're asking you for money for unpaid fines or jury duty that you never went to, be suspect. Don't buy into that.
Yeah, you can always... Can't you always call and make sure? Like, would that be a good thing to do, Kelly? As if you think if you're
Yeah.
if you maybe you didn't show up to jury duty.
That would be a concern. That'd be one I think you could get over on me. But yes, you can always call the courthouse and ask, or call the police. Call the person that claims to be the source of the call. Just hang up and call the real guy, and that should allay your fears. There's a lot going on to rid Mississippi of brain drain, and we've got all this new industry and economic development coming into Mississippi. So now colleges are teaming up with these industries to train future workers. And it's just a really good news. So recently, Howard Technology Solutions, one of the largest employers in the Pine Belt region, which is headquartered in Laurel, partnered with William Carey University to offer a curriculum that's tailor-made for students who might want to work at Howard Tech. William Carey president Dr. Bennett told us more about the benefits of this partnership.
We're going to be able to educate their employees through certificate programs and through classes that we're about to create as well. But for our current students, it's going to allow a pipeline of a place where they can go work.
And similar announcements are expected in the future. University officials are working with the city of Hattiesburg and local military units to develop learning modules that fit their specific needs. The idea here, like I said, is to streamline students into becoming successful professionals. And there was another similar announcement last week. Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College unveiled a groundbreaking initiative to train the future workforce for careers in the defense sector. Officials with the community college, I know, I can hear cha-ching when I hear defense sector jobs, right? Officials with the community college, along with industry leaders and Senator Roger Wicker, gathered at the school's Harrison County campus to celebrate the start of what they're calling the Defense Industry Training Accelerated Courses Program, or DITAC. I love it when they shorten stuff. Thank you. They'll have specialized programs in welding, advanced manufacturing, mechanical systems, cybersecurity, automation, and unmanned maritime systems. So there's a lot going on there. A lot of sports news today, Rebecca. 19 days from now, the Southern Miss football team will take on Mississippi State to begin the 2025 season. The Golden Eagles held their first scrimmage of preseason camp on Saturday. Marshall transfer Braylon Braxton tossed for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns, while a long list of other players also had good days. USM head coach Charles Huff says overall he's pleased with the product.
I did like the fact that both sides of the ball made some plays. It was good today to kind of get out and get close to a full game amount of reps, just so you can physically feel what it feels like to kind of, roll through. So there was definitely some positive. Some of the guys that we were expecting to play well played well.
Over in Starkville, the Bulldogs also held a scrimmage on Saturday to get ready for USM. Both of those teams are back at practice today, and if you want more on sports, just log on to supertalk.fm. Also, the first top 25 rankings for the upcoming college football season have just been revealed. Fox's Jared Max has the details.
In the closest vote of the Associated Press college football preseason poll in 27 years, the Texas Longhorns beat out the Penn State Nittany Lions for the number 1 ranking Monday. It's the first time Texas has ever been number 1 in the AP preseason poll. A record 5th straight year, the number 1 team comes from the Southeastern Conference. Ranked 3rd, the reigning national champion Ohio State Buckeyes, who will open their season August 30th at home against number 1 Texas. Clemson ranked 4th, followed by Georgia 5th. Then Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, and Miami to round out the top 10. Second year in a row, the SEC has 4 teams in the top 10. The Big Ten has 2 of the top 3 for the 3rd year in a row.
Ole Miss ranked at number 21, and if we went through the list too fast for you, you can always go back and review it at supertalk.fm.
Are you excited about kickoffs, Kelly? Is football something you enjoy?
I hate to confess that I'm not a big football person. I've tried to understand football. There are just too many rules. I don't know. I just don't get it. I had a friend tell me one time, she's like, Kelly, you're thinking too hard. That's what your problem is. But a couple of years ago, a friend of mine, we went out and started watching baseball. We watched the World Series of Baseball, and I have learned I've become a big baseball fan. That's a fun game to watch. I enjoy it.
We got to wait a little bit longer before that, but all those other good headlines over at supertalk.fm. Kelly, I appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot, Rebecca.
All right, you guys stick with us. We got more.